So you guys are probably wondering why I'm upset. It's because Smash Bros. Sakurai, he added another fucking Fire Emblem character. Now I thought I'd sit here and talk about the entire thing. I know I didn't do a reaction video on it, but I'm like, you know what, what's the point? I mean, there was a few good things that happened during it, but honestly, the character itself was just a disappointment to me because, for me, I'm not really into the whole Fire Emblem series, so that's one, not like something I don't care about really too much. But there's also been a thing that they've added too many Fire Emblem characters. This is like the 8th one they've put into the game. Like, seriously, you're pretty much probably tied with Mario at this point, which is like, why do this? And like, especially because it's like the last character. Like, make the last character more hype than the others, Sakurai. It's just... Well, I wouldn't say like the character itself is what I'm really upset about. Like, I've seen the direct. I think the character has a good moveset. I think it has some good costumes and good abilities and stuff. It's just the fact that they added another Fire Emblem character. You know, I wouldn't mind this too much if this was like earlier ago. Like, if it was like maybe like the 3rd or 4th like character. Because I've always assumed that all the DLC fighters that we would get would be from like different franchises, because we had Joker for Persona 5, that was a new series. There was Hero from Dragon Quest, which was also a new series. Banjo-Kazooie, there wasn't any franchises in Smash Bros. With that. Same with Terry Bogard. Same with his game, which I don't even remember. But Byleth from Fire Emblem. The one thing I will say that I can forgive them for is that I don't think, like, with Spirit-wise, they didn't have any Fire Emblem 3 houses, because that's kind of what it was based off of. So I will not shout at them for that, because, well, it's technically a new game, like a different franchise almost, but like, still, a lot of people were just truly upset about this. Like, I was as well about the whole situation. Like, around that time, for like the 5th final character, people were suspecting like someone like Crash, which is someone I've been wanting since Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out. I've been wanting Spyro and Crash for the longest time, but unfortunately, we had to have someone like Byleth. Like, if I had to make a list of characters I would cut from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, Byleth would be one of them. Not just because the character itself, it's just the way it was introduced. Because, like I said before, any other time this character could have been released. Any other time. But when you make it the final DLC member of the DLC pack, like, you expect it to be super hyped at that point. Like, if anything, I'd rather Byleth get switched with Banjo-Kazooie at this point, just to make it a little more interesting. Like, oh, okay, if I'm a character, oh boy. Like that, I would be a little less upset about that, honestly. But, you know, they kind of did make up for it with what the rest of the Direct had to offer, which is probably, like, the rest of the Direct was probably the best part after showing off Byleth and all that, because we, for one, have the new Mii costumes. Most of them aren't really my favorite. I mean, we have 2 new Mega Man ones, which I don't care for that much. There was also one from Assassin's Creed, I remember, which I don't know why they changed the name to Alter. That was kind of weird. But the 2 Mii fighter costumes I'm interested in is one, the Rabbit's Head. I've been kind of wanting Rabbits as their own character, but you know what? This kind of works out. Like, I didn't care about them I just wanted them in Smash. Like, I didn't really care for them being, like, an actual character or a Mii fighter costume, that I didn't mind. Now I see if they did crash, then I'd be very pissed. But you know, I can accept the rabbit head, especially if it's just the head. I mean, I can kind of make that into a character, especially for the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament, which will be coming out in February because, well, Season 4, because, well, you know, that it's pretty much when Byleth's going to be released anyways, on the 28th of January, so, you know. You know, we're also a month early before that last character comes out, so you know what? We're getting the final character a month earlier than expected, so you know what? That's okay, I guess. And then the final Mii costume was Cuphead, which is quite interesting. I never actually played Cuphead myself. I've seen people play Cuphead, and I know how angry they can be at the game. And, you know, I mean, Cuphead was a pretty popular character, and, you know, I kind of like how it is just a Mii gunner, again, kind of like with Sans almost. It really makes sense, though, that they put him as a Mii gunner, because normally when you attack, it always does like the finger gun, like boop, 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 boop. But yeah, it was kind of also weird just to see another like famous character as a Mii costume as a gunner again. Like Mii gunners literally have Sans and they have Cuphead, and then with the rabbit's head, you can literally put it with anyone. Like you can make like a Mario Rabbit one. Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, unless they have like a Mario costume or something, that would be interesting. Then you can make Rabbit Mario or something. But yeah, like the rabbit head, like it's literally just a head. So like if you just put like a white like skin on, almost like my ninja outfit, it could work for my Mii fighter. You can literally put the rabbit head on, and then there you go. There's a rabbit. But yeah. I think that's quite interesting, though, with rabbits, and like, just Mii gunners gotten more of the attention, especially since I feel like Mii Brawler is more of the powerhouse, but I've even seen it through my Super Smash Bros. Ultimate tournaments, where most of the time, it's Mii gunner that wins the entire, like, tourneys and stuff, like whenever I did like Nugget, Sans, Dugget, Mii Gunner, like regular Mii Gunner, and like any sort of like small little Mii Gunner I've like done, they've won like quite a good amount of tournaments. Surprisingly for Season 3 though, I just remembered normal Mii Gunner did not make it in, surprisingly. But you know, it was still quite interesting. And, you know, maybe they'll make characters for Mii Sword Fighter or Mii Brawler maybe next time. So that also goes for the next topic, which is the 6 new DLC fighters. I was actually kind of expecting to have another, like, bit of characters. Like, I wasn't expecting 1 or 2. I was still thinking, like, maybe around 5 and 6 anyway still. Like, in that majority ways of amount of characters I thought we'd get after they said, oh, more DLC fighters are in development and stuff. So I was kind of expecting around that number anyways, and I guess most people were thinking like 1 or 2. Nah, I was thinking a little more. Mostly also because I was hopeful for that, because I really want Spyro and Crash to make it in, which I can still kind of see it happening. Hopefully we don't have any more disappointments. I know pretty much when Terry came out, right at the moment he did, I was kind of disappointed at first because back then we didn't know more DLC fighters would be released. So I thought, okay, they're not making it in. The two characters I've always wanted, they are not making it in, and I am disappointed by that. But luckily they have 6 more chances to making it. Well, 5 technically, because I want both of them in. So, you know, there's at least 5 chances to have both of them in, and 6 chances for at least one of them in. So, you know, that's still quite interesting. And I think it's also quite interesting that there's 6 for this one, because technically there was 6 for the last one almost. I mean, I know the entire DLC pack for the first one was 5, but you gotta remember the bonus Piranha Plant, right? So like, yeah, that's already 6 right there. So that's kind of cool actually, and yeah, hopefully I'll be more impressed with the DLC Fighter Pack, the second one, for like all its new other characters. Hopefully Spyro and Crash make it in. Because I wasn't really too hyped with all the other DLC fighters from this pack, like the first pack. Like I say, some of the characters were interesting. The only one I was really hyped for was Banjo, and who is now also one of my mains as well. Like that in that scenario, I kind of liked and enjoyed. Banjo is probably like the best DLC fighter I could really ask for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. The rest, I mean, they all have interesting features, but like they weren't really characters I was really too interested, or their series I never really got into because I wasn't that interested in the characters in that sort of way. And of course, so if I had to rank them, Banjo would be on top, Byleth would be at the bottom, and then for second, third, and fourth, I would probably put like Hero at second, Joker third, and Terry fourth. So yeah, no offense to Terry, but like you almost made my heart disappear by getting rid of Spyro and Crash, the last two characters. And I guess I can also talk about the Pokemon Direct while I'm here, because I mean I never did the React thing for that. The only reason why I didn't do any of these reacts is because I was at school at the time of the Directs at 9 a.m. on Thursdays. So because I have class literally at that time, unfortunately, so I couldn't watch it then. And if anything, I was going to check out social media eventually, and I would just get spoiled anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal. I mean, hell, I pretty much kind of got a little spoiled with Terry. I've even mentioned that during like when I was looking at that little direct, the little Nintendo Direct, and saw that it wasn't Spyro and Crash, that it was someone else. And even though I didn't know exactly who it was, but like, I was still kind of like spoiled in that way anyways. So it's like, like if I could still be here when a Nintendo Direct happens, I will do a react to it. I'll try my best to do that, but if they're during classes, I'm going to say no, and maybe make another video like this about talking about this situation. I just kind of want to talk about like the buy list situation, because I know a lot of people are kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed as well. Like I said, it's mostly just because it's another Fire Emblem character. Like, the actual character itself, I don't mind. It's just the franchise itself and the time in that it was released. That was the one thing I was upset about. So I guess kind of moving into the Pokemon Direct. I kind of liked all the new features that, like the Pokemon Direct was totally better than the Smash Bros. Direct. I mean, really, it was. I know Smash Bros. Kind of brought it back with the Cuphead costume and the 6 new DLC fighters, but Pokemon is coming out with a brand new game. Well, technically a remake game, by the way, which is Pokemon. I believe it's the first Pokemon Mystery Dungeon game. It was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team, which I've never played the original game of that, but I do love the series of the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon games. I've played Gates to Infinity and Super Mystery Dungeon. I think both of those games were really interesting, so I haven't really looked too much into the original, like the other two ones. Like there was, of course, like Rescue Team, and there was also Sky Explorers as well. I never really looked into that one as well, but yeah, I think it's quite interesting, and I'll probably buy it and be playing it for you guys on the channel as well. And yeah, there's also the case that this is also the first video I've actually recorded in a while. Most of the other ones I've posted lately, they've been from like a while ago. Besides the Super Mario Party one I've put out recently for Team 2, I think that was literally the last one I've actually recorded. So yeah, it's been a while since I've actually recorded. Yeah, I think it'll be kind of fun. If anything, I kind of hoped for Poke Park because that was also a fun franchise going too. It would be kind of interesting having Poke Park back, which I know they've only done 2 games and they kind of stopped at Gen 5, which I mean I don't know why. I mean the second Poke Park game was like more popular than the first one, I would have to say, or at least in my opinion, I thought the second game was a lot more better than the first one, even though the first one had a bit more Pokemon to befriend. I think, well, it was just that there was a lot of like the Sinnoh ones that I would really like from the first Poke Park game in the newer one, but like they never had that chance to do it. And of course, you can play as all the most of the other Pokemon in the first Poke Park game. Only in mini games though, but like in the other one, you can only be like 4 Pokemon, but you can always beat them at any time, really. But enough of that. I guess moving on to the final Pokemon thing, which was the Armor Isle, I think it's called, and then the Crown Tundra. I think those are really interesting concepts that they added for DLC, like being able to go to 2 new areas, like there'll also be like new legendaries, new events and stuff, not to mention bringing back some other old Pokemon they couldn't bring into Sword and Shield the first time around. Even though it's only 200, that's still pretty good. I mean, if anything, they might try to bring back the rest of the franchise of Pokemon whenever they make the Diamond and Pearl remake, because they're going to do that at some point. I know it, because it's always been that kind of thing, because I think it at least started in Gen 3 where they had Fire Red and Leaf Green, which was pretty much the remakes of Red and Blue almost. So, you know, like, it was almost like, because it was really right after the 3rd gen that they kind of made the first remake of that game. And then when Sinnoh came out, it did the same with Gold and Silver, where they had Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And of course, they didn't do that for Gen 5, obviously, because I don't know, I guess they kind of wanted to go by 2s or something. But then they did a remake during Gen 6 of Gen 3. So there was that. And of course we didn't have any for Gen 7, and then we moved on to Gen 8, which now we shall have a new remake of Diamond and Pearl. But anyways, going back to the Isle of Armor and Crown Jewel, I think some of the new Pokemon that I saw there were really interesting. I'm glad the Regis are back, and they're going to be adding 2 new Regis. I mean, that's pretty cool. I was thinking they were like Galarian forms to start off, but like, if I remember correctly, we only saw 2. And normally there was the 3 Regis. So I feel like they're just going to add the 2. So that'd be interesting. And imagine like you have those 5 and then Regigigas. You would actually have a full team of Regis. I think that's actually quite interesting. That was interesting. I think some of the legendaries was quite interesting. I think from the Crown Tundra, I think that one was interesting with I feel like they also made a reference for their legendary, because with that Pokemon, I forgot the name, but it was like, you know, it was like that green looking one. It actually had like the Triforce looking thing, so it kind of referenced the Legends of Zelda, which, you know, was quite interesting in my opinion. Anything else on that topic? But yeah, like the areas are like, there's kind of like more wild area practically, so you can always have like Gigantamax battles. Oh yeah, the stars having Gigantamax forms. Not bad, I'd have to say. The one thing that is kind of weird, that the Pokemon themselves don't grow huge, but they have like something else of theirs grows. Like I believe Rillaboom has like huge drums now. Cinderace has a giant fireball underneath him, and then there's just a stream of water with Inteleon on top with a sniper. He's literally a sniper. Oh boy. But yeah, I thought the Pokemon Direct was quite interesting, and I'll definitely get like the DLC stuff for that during that time. And yeah, surprisingly, even though we haven't had an official Nintendo Direct, most people are obviously more interested in the Pokemon and Smash Bros. Series, so I can kind of see why they only showed those two as separate directs. And the one thing I'm also kind of been wanting is an actual Nintendo Direct because I've been kind of wanted to see if there's any new interesting games. Like the last set of games I believe before Pokemon Sword came out was there was Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, like the 2021, and what was the other one? Was it Crash? No, it wasn't Crash. I believe it was Spyro, wasn't it? Maybe. I'm not. No, Spyro was earlier. No, you were September. I can't remember the other game. I've played so many games at this point. I can't exactly remember. But maybe it was. I think it was actually. Yeah. Yeah, because it was Spyro and then the two in November, which was Sonic at the Olympic Game, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, and then Pokemon Sword. But yeah, not really other too many interesting games have been like called out. Obviously, the one game I would honestly like to get someday is a DK64 remake. I really want that to be a thing, and I really hope that Nintendo can make that kind of game because I would love to replay that game, especially since that is my childhood. DK64 was my childhood, so just being able to play that game remade, I would love a lot. So I guess that's everything I wanted to really talk about. I know the Smash Bros was not the best. Like this was probably one of the worst directs for Smash Bros that was made, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's their choice. It's Sakurai and the team's choice of characters, and you can't really tell them here on out for what we want because it's already decided. So hopefully Spyro and Crash are on that list, and hopefully some other characters as well. I know there were some others, like I know Sora would probably be someone I would think maybe would be a good candidate. I also thought of Jibanyan from Yokai Watch. I thought maybe that would work out as well. Is there anything else? What else did I say? I kind of forgot. Yeah. Those are normally my thoughts, I guess. So thank you guys for listening to my rant. I didn't think I was going to ram on for 23 minutes, but there you go. These are just my thoughts on the directs and things I want to come, hopefully. And hopefully it's all good. Also, for the rest of the DLC fighters, we have to wait like almost 2 years. Like, yeah, hold on, before we end. We have to wait almost 2 years for 6 DLC fighters. I went like this, like 8. Oh, mystery 8. No, there's 6. But like, yeah, we have to wait till like literally just before 2022. I'm pretty much gonna be graduated college by then, or at least my class my course that I'm taking right now in film and acting for television. So yeah, it's just nuts. Like, are they really gonna crank? They probably haven't even started on them at all, if they're really gonna push that far. But yeah, and if anything, if I think on when Spyro and Crash might be released, I looked at the dates that the games were made, and it's a possibility it could be around the start of September. Just because I saw it was like September 9th, I believe, both games were released, which was kind of weird that it was September 9th. I don't remember if it was the year. I don't know if it was the same year. I can't remember. But you know, it was quite interesting. But yeah, I guess that's mostly it. Yeah, hopefully the next DLC fighter isn't as shitty. And also, just a reminder, also, It will be around February. I will be starting the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Tournament Season 4. So I hope you guys are excited for that. The story for that, for the end part of it, is going to be interesting. Of course, with Blood Falcon and the Dark team, and my team going up against them, especially with the newly added ones during the off season, which was Agent 69. There was Pedro, and then Ash and Tim. So be hyped for what's to come, and yeah. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya!
Are we evolving? Please tell me we're evolving. That would be awesome. Johnzza, your Primary Scarf. Wait, both our scarves. Are we gonna both evolve? Is she storing with us, Hunter? Wait, we evolve. Are we evolving? Please tell me we're evolving. Oh my god, we're evolving! Okay, we just passed the second evolution. We just